Coops, to kick things off, you were on the back foot before the siren had even sounded and the ball was bounced. What's your just overall sort of view of today, and what were you telling the girls post-match?
We're really disappointed with the effort. Things were obviously going to be tough with the late outs and different things, and the debutants coming in. But we talked pre-game about everyone having a strong mindset. We had quite a few players who did, but nowhere near enough. And in the end, when you play a side as good as Melbourne, and you've got a few who aren't switched on, the result is going to happen like it did. So that was the main thing. That going forward, we're in the finals. We've worked too hard to put ourselves in the position to be there, just to let it wilt away because of a few circumstances outside our control. We have to get back in, control what we can control, and push forward to make sure that we can play well, because we still believe that we're capable of doing some damage in the finals.
And I believe you're the first club in the league this year to actually have to call on a top-up player this season. Is there questions over integrity and postponing matches, or should this match been looked at?
Good question. I think we're in those times at the moment where that has to happen. Like if we postpone that match today to when season gets pushed back, players got work commitments as well. So it's not, if all of a sudden we push the whole season back, there's things like that. So we never asked for anything to be pushed back or anything. The rules were really clear at the start of the year. And as far as integrity goes, life's not fair, and this season might not be totally fair. Other sides have had to deal with it at different stages, and we're dealing with it now. So we won't complain about that at all.
And obviously the girls and the coaches have been in a hub earlier this year, and that forced a lot of girls to rearrange work life. I know it's really hard to sort of reevaluate that now, but is there a discussion internally about trying to limit contact with other people and stay away?
Yeah, we have been talking about that already, for sure. But as you point out, it's really difficult. The girls have already missed a heap of time away from work because of that. Employers have been very patient with that, but they also want their work done and their businesses looked after. So where people can work from home or can mitigate risk, we're trying to do that. But unfortunately, in the AFLW landscape, we can't just lock them up and tell them not to go to training not to go home or wherever they are, or not to go to work. So we're always talking about mitigating risk, but we can't get to that absolute level. And ironically, we were safer in Melbourne when we were surrounded by COVID, because we could sort of lock ourselves away and take extra precautions.
Coops, what does the next week look like for you? There's two parts that I'm looking at here. One, personnel that you get back before next week, but when you get them during the week so that you're able to actually train and work with them and start building on what we saw today.
So O'Sullivan and Franklin should be available early in the week. So they should get a full week of training. And then the two Antonios and O'Driscoll will be very late, so that they won't train. I'm not sure if they can get out Friday or Saturday. And we've got a Sunday game, so they should be available. But you have to select them during that time, questionable. So we'll have to look at that. And we've got some room to stick when the label
Fair enough. You dropped to 5th today, mate, and that means if you stay there, it means travelling for finals. In a way, does what you've gone through earlier in the season put you in good stead? It doesn't really bother you travelling once that comes about?
Well, we've got a better record on the road than at home this year. So if that's what it comes to, then we're prepared. It'll be disappointing for our fans not to have, we love playing in front of them, and we're obviously away from them for a big chunk of the year. So that will be the disappointing aspect of it. But, we're happy to go on the road and take on these good sides. And, we haven't played well against the good sides, and we've had maybe a couple of excuses against North and today. We didn't have any excuses last week against Adelaide, so we have to prove ourselves against the good sides. But if we have to do that in Victoria or Queensland or South Australia, I would relish that opportunity.
Awesome. Done.
Just obviously last year, it's sort of a trend, I guess, in some respects that you sort of tapered off towards the end of the season. Obviously, there's been a number of other factors this year, but does it sort of dent the confidence a bit heading into finals?
Yeah, not really. Well, it would dent the confidence, no doubt. I don't know about the trend aspect of it. This year, we didn't play the real strong teams until different stage, till later on in the year. We're actually very fit team at the moment, and we've got, apart from our genuine injuries, where we would be really in a good spot to put out a good side. So there's no fatigue or tiredness physically. So yeah, there'd be no excuses from that point of view.
Is it a bit of a nervous wait to see if COVID has spread throughout the group?
Yes, definitely. I don't think it has. It's not even spreading throughout the group. It's just a nervous wait, just from the girls at work, and we know how prevalent it is in the society at the moment. So I'm not too worried about it being spread throughout the group. I'm more worried about what could happen, who gets deemed a close contact, that type of thing, because that's what's brought us undone up to this stage. So yeah, that's going to be a nervous. I don't really like taking phone calls from my players at this stage, so not a lot of normal conversations happening when someone rings. So, but that's what we're living in, and we'll hopefully we can get through and be relatively unscathed when we get to the big games.
Just on Tildy Sargent as well, another head knock concussion, it looks like, for her. How is she at the moment?
Yeah, she's pretty good. It's just a really unfortunate incident again. So it's obviously a real concern that she's had so many. They are incidents that she's had lately that most people would have been concussed from. I know the one against the Western Bulldogs, yeah, anyone would have been concussed from that. Last week, she seemed to she played Waffle W, got a couple of head knocks and was fine. And then today, I haven't seen it, but I believe heads hit the ground as the player's arms accidentally fall on top of her at the same time. So it sounded like one that again. So yeah, really disappointing for Tildy. I had a good chat with her then. She seems fine, but obviously in the concussion protocols, she won't be available either.
And just lastly on Michaela Weston, pretty crazy day for her. How was her application coming into the side so late?
She was great. She's a really popular character in our group. She just trained with us during the pre-season. They're only allowed to train one session a week, but really bubbly, provides a lot of energy. And we spoke to, rang her today when she was our first choice as a train-on, and she was down south in Dunsborough on a university course, doing some training there. And I thought, that's a bit much of an ask. And then I inquired about 2 or 3 others who are also in COVID protocols and different things as well. So we said, okay, Michaela is going to be our best bet. And we knew, far from an ideal preparation, to sit in the car for 3 hours. And she arrived, I think it was about 25 minutes before bounce down. But she's a great athlete, and she bounced around, and she was really good. I thought she had some really good moments and showed what she could do. So it was one of the pleasing aspects of the day to give her an opportunity, and she took it with both hands.